everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex, and this is Big Baby Reviews. Today is Capullo Friday, so we're taking a look at the next issue of his Quasar run from the early 90s. More specifically, this is issue number 37, cover dated August 1992. Before we move on with the comic, though, some slight structural changes to the channel. These days, I'm quite busy with the new house. A lot of things to, improve and repair, and also just some family stuff kind of going on right now where I'm going to have to take a little bit of time away from some of the videos and the video production side of things. So the channel is going to be moving to a structure of basically a weekday kind of thing, guys. So there will be no more videos, unfortunately, on Saturdays and Sundays. Basically, videos will be from Monday to Friday, and recently I've started doing videos with my buddy Mark Darden and putting those out on Wednesday, and from this point on, as long as Mark's still into doing this stuff and we keep doing it for a little while, our video where we discuss comics together will be the Wednesday video, and our regularly scheduled videos will be on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday during the week. So there you go. Just want to let you guys all know about the change once again in just the basic structure of the channel, and how often and how regular the videos are going to be coming out. So now that that's out of the way, we're going to talk about Quasar number 37. Starting with the cover, it kind of gives us a good hint of what we're going to be seeing on the inside. This issue is pretty cosmic and surreal, so it was one of my favorites. I mentioned Capullo really improving last issue. This one is another kind of step forward, and I feel like the storyline in this one is pretty much open to, Capullo spreading his wings a little bit as far as the characters he's using. It's a lot of the cosmic, surrealist, kind of Jack Kirby inspired stuff. So he's going really big, and also trying some interesting stuff with the design. So I really appreciated this issue. Out of the whole run up to this point, at least story-wise and just interest-wise, this has to be the best Quasar issue yet. And the art is obviously a big part of that. We're going to be encountering this weird creature that we see on the cover on the inside as well. Just what a wild design on that one. Not quite sure where that comes from, what I think of it. Is it good, is it bad? It's kind of just really just odd to me, I guess, is how I'd put it, but well drawn because it's Capullo. And again, at this point, his inker and him have really synced in together, and the art's looking nice and crisp. And I do appreciate this cover, all the cosmic, kind of background, basically composing the body that is the character Eternity, right? So we see a bit of his face here, if you don't know who that is. I'm pretty sure Steve Ditko came up with that design, right? It's very kind of 60s surreal, psychedelic kind of stuff. So we're going to be seeing quite a lot of that in this issue here. So let's break her open, have a look inside. So this first splash is kind of indicative of what we're going to get in this issue. Some nice cosmic surrealist kind of adventure. We've got basically an alien fetus here, kind of weird looking, but also kind of cute, right? And no one wants to see a baby get harmed, right? So Quasar, Makari, and her are trying to kind of help him out. Quasar's manifested these clamps to hold his wounds close together, but they're not sure it's going to work. And just some great, very imaginative drawing from Greg Capullo here that I'm really into, and again just starts off the issue right for me. Infinity Manifestations, I guess this refers to the Infinity Gauntlet because there's a slight connection here when we see Captain America. We'll find out a bit later. Mark Grunwald's the writer, Greg Capullo penciler, Harry Candelario is the inker, Janice Chang letterer, and Paul Becton colorist. So this gentleman pops up, right, and kind of in a burst of energy. So, Quasar's obviously got his guard up here, but he is not here to harm them. Almost kind of like a watcher, not quite sure who he is, but he's here to help out with the fetus. And he summons someone who can be of more use here. And this lady pops up, and if you noticed, she's got the motherly hips for sure, right? She's a much plumper kind of woman, and she's actually got 3 breasts, so she's kind of the symbol, the cosmic symbol of maternal instinct or something. Her name is Rubana Lageneris Cuomo. We call her the caregiver, right? So she's definitely there to help out the fetus, right? With her maternal instincts. And again, just a great cosmic sequence here with them summoning her and her approaching the fetus's, I guess the uterus, the space uterus, right? This is what these pieces are here. Just great, great, great cosmic designs here. At this point, Greg Capullo is fully coming to his own with, the facial features, the expressions, all that. And this is just icing on the cake. Nice little sequence there with the fetus. I love that, just such an odd face, a bit of a almost like manga mixed in with Kirby influence, which I think is kind of cool. Just not designs that I'm used to seeing. I think are pretty original to Capullo in anything I've seen, anyways. So here's where Captain America kind of connects with Quasar and asks him basically about the whereabouts of eternity, and that kind of sets off the adventure here. They discuss it a little bit. This is not one of the more interesting pages, although 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll commend him for giving us a good solid storytelling. 9 panels, just a lot to read through that we're not going to go through here, but each panel drawn masterfully, I would say. Just now, I'm seeing, other than that really slick kind of 90s aesthetic, I'm really seeing what I expect to see from Greg Capullo. Another cool shot of this guy from last issue, crouched down, that kind of G.I. Joe Dreadnought design, I would say here. Very 90s as well. And I think this is the kind of stuff and what we saw before. Maybe even more specifically, this whole issue is what Todd McFarlane saw and maybe started seeing the potential of Greg Capullo, because it's really stellar artwork all the way throughout. And because of the subject matter, as you see when we get into the next page, it's just a good chance for him to show off and do some really kind of very decorative, surrealist, psychedelia kind of artwork, which works really well in Quasar, right? The cosmic stuff. And this is just, again, to remind us of the sequence with this guy from last issue, the B story, and I guess we'll be coming back to him next issue. So as he sits with this gentleman, he says, as we're going to link our spiritual essences and kind of go into a trance, space starts to warp around them. And this is where I was mentioning earlier, kind of the interesting kind of effects and printing processes that are used here. Not quite sure how this is done here, but I don't feel like it's an ink job. I feel like this is something after the fact or some sort of weird screen tone or something, but I like the effect here of space kind of warping and then switching into the silhouette of the characters from here. I think works really well. And then boom, we get a double page splash of kind of the cosmic characters, right? And the ones that are involved. I know this from having read the Infinity Gauntlet, that will be involved in the conflict of the Infinity Gauntlet. Kind of reminiscent on this page, I think, to I mentioned before how I see sometimes little bits of John Romita Jr. in some of Greg Capullo's artwork. I see a little bit of it here as far as the width of the characters and the anatomy and the squareness of this face here looks very, very John Romita Jr. to me. Like he learned to draw this angle of a face from some John Romita Jr. Drawings, or at least took inspiration from it. And just adds this interesting element over top here that's kind of like you're barred from actually talking to these characters. I guess that's symbolism of that is what's supposed to be getting across. And that's, as we'll see, he's going to start talking to them and they're not responding. So definitely that's what's trying to be conveyed. And I think that works. Another shot here, like how weird and cool looking is this, right? With, I'm assuming the black bands in this area here was all inked very precisely, but this whole use of the screen tone here is just really cool. And the starkness of all of a sudden the background being black and white, I think works really well. Some more cosmic-y designs here when you finally catch a glimpse of eternity. This character that I think we saw before in past issues has an interesting design. There'll be a cool money shot of her later on. Another shot where I see a little bit of John Romita Jr. in that face. And at this point, I talked in past issues of Quasar, I felt that, Capullo's maybe struggling a bit more with his drawing of the ladies, but by this issue, he's doing really well. And again, apart from the aesthetic, it's the kind of facial composition that I'm used to from Capullo and that I would say he does to this day. Interesting looking character, not quite sure who he is. So yeah, just basically a cosmic, psychedelic trip here that we're going through. And again, the use of, black and whites to kind of create that contrast and move from one scene to another. The screen tones, all this kind of designy stuff that's just kind of abstract and weird, I think is really cool. I mean, I guess you could qualify this as 90s psychedelia. Psychedelia with a 90s aesthetic. Some of these lines I feel are a little bit like, there's a bit of Mark Silvestri in some of that Capullo art as well. Here's the creature that we encountered on the cover. All of a sudden, other than Quasar, this is pretty much color-wise a monochromatic page. That's another example of how I find, maybe not specifically in this issue, maybe a few issues before, but the colors were really not that great and really started getting more interesting in recent issues on Quasar. And then again, we switch from the yellow monochrome to the bluey purple monochromes down here. to change from scene to scene. Works really well. The colors, again, now are actually helping the art and highlighting stuff rather than hindering it. So yeah, this was the money shot I was talking about earlier, and just an interesting choice to have all these lines, you know, kind of taper off. Just love the experimenting he's doing in this issue with abstract kind of art, as well as the figurative art that he's doing, right? It feels like this is a blast to draw, and, you know, not so difficult as far as backgrounds go, because it's all cosmic and all in space. And as you can see from this page, you know, when we're dealing mostly with close-ups, there's almost no background. We've gone back to the whole monochrome yellow effect that we had on the other page where these characters were facing off, right? And this is another staple of Greg Capullo that I think works really well, and he really heightens on this page here, is the really tight, close crop of the face here, specifically from all sorts of different angles. I think that works really well. Some good design ideas here on the page. And wow, this issue is over faster than I thought. And we're going to be finding out next issue the fallout from all this, because or some of it anyways, because as it says here, to be continued in Infinity War #3. All right, so I was a bit off, not Infinity Gauntlet, but Infinity War. But they do involve all the same basic cosmic characters that we met in this issue here. Anything else of interest? No, that'll be it. So there you go, guys. That is my review of Quasar issue number 37, the best to date, I think, at least art-wise. If you're still watching and you are subscribed, thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate your continued support. If you're watching but you're not subscribed, please do so below. It only takes a quick second for you, and it really helps the channel out, helps us grow, and helps get us out there to other people who are into comic books just like we are. So everyone out there, thanks again for watching, and have yourselves an awesome day.
Like! Subscribe! Like! Subscribe!
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KINGCOMICS.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.